Do you want to make your life easier whenever you make monsters, whether you're homebrewing them from absolute scratch or you're taking a monster and tweaking it up or down to fit where you want to put it in your game? Well, I'm the Dungeon Coach. I'm here to help you lower that DC in your game, and it is Monster Month here in the month of August, and I got a CR overhaul, experience gain overhaul, monster rolls, a 1-minute monster creation chart where you can make literally a monster in no time flat. But in this video, we're going to be talking about those 8 monster rolls and a 1-minute system and a 1 simple chart to make any monsters from. And if this video does well enough, we'll do say 1,000 likes. I'm going to talk about the CR overhaul of how I took challenge rating and actually fixed it and turned it into monster levels, which also correlate with player levels. Crazy. But enough stomping around. Let's get into these monster rolls. These monster rolls obviously took inspiration from D&D 4th edition. There are some good things about D&D 4th edition. We have minions that came from there, skill challenges. I love both of those. And yes, monster rolls. These rolls basically put monsters into categories that lets you as a dungeon master think of where they fit on the battlefield, where they fit tactically, what kind of abilities they could possibly get. You got your artillerist, which is basically like a ranged attacker from attacking from distance. You got a brute, which is up in the front lines, not huge on defense, but huge on offense. Usually have a lot of health, big, huge brute, and is just dealing a bunch of damage. A little bit hard to take down, but not as hard to take down as the defender, which is like a wall, huge shield, metal armor, big scales, whatever you're thinking of. Controller is designed to mess with the players and slow them down, slows, stuns, difficult terrain, other types of stuff that besides damage. Leader is usually some sort of inspiration, maybe almost even bard flavored things that kind of lead and inspire their allies in some way. Even if it's a wolf howling and they get some sort of buff from it, that's a leader. Lurker is a super stealthy, sneaky kind of creature that's a little bit like, you know, sneaky. Skirmishers are a bit well-rounded, but they also have a pretty good, decent amount of mobility and can attack from range or melee. And then there's the support. So instead of hindering the enemies like the controller does and hurting them, or sorry, not hurting, slowing them down, the support buffs your own allies, giving them increased bonuses or even healing them. And I know these roles are a little bit gamey but we're playing a game at the end of the day, y'all. It's going to help dungeon masters be able to categorically compartmentalize these roles in their spots. So let me show you an example here of this brute. And I've done this for every single class, and there's a whole bunch more we'll get into of how you can get your hands on this whole thing later. But here's what we're going to show you an example of the brute. So brute's hard hitting, bags of health that wade through enemy lines, crushing everything in their path. Strength is damage, hit points, possibly even regeneration, zone control of a certain area. And their weaknesses are defense, long range, and mobility. So already you can start to get the idea what kind of creature this is. And possibly these little keywords here might make, oh, you know what? That would be cool to give them some sort of zone control ability. Maybe they have an aura of some kind. And just these words already start to get you thinking about mechanics and makes your life easier as well to kind of come up with some of these things because it gets the ball rolling, right? Then there's a whole section we have here on tactics and gameplay of how to play a brute. What other monster roles that we just listed off would work well with a brute? What if you have a whole bunch of brutes? And then my favorite part that we've done here for each of these things is give it a bunch of different features. Here's a bunch of features for the brute that you could tack on to any kind of brute. A bonus action charge where they run into the battlefield and deal damage. Done. Some sort of grappling strike. Whenever they hit, they automatically grapple. Crushing strength is whenever a creature starts its turn grappled or restrained, they automatically take bludgeoning damage from their crushing. A siege property where they can break down things, or a ground slam property, they have some sort of area of effect. But then this next part is designed to give you all a little bit of insight and do a lot of the math for you. As the Dungeon Master Guide states, there is that one very effective chart that has all the different things of damage and health and armor class and all these different things. And we've redone the math to balance it out better, and we're going to show you that math right here. And it's also different for each of the 8 roles. So if you want to make a brute, here we go. HP is 15 health per level. So if you want to make a level 1 brute, 15 health. Level 2 brute, 30 health. 45, 60, you get the idea. If you think some of these numbers sound crazy, stay with me, but you can see where we're going from here. AC is 10 plus half level. Now, when it says half level, I'm talking about the players, your current players at the table. So if your players are level 4, half of their level is 2. So a normal simple 8 armor class for a brute would be 10 plus 2, so 12. Again, they're not designed to have high armor class. They have a lot of health, as we've just shown, but they're easy to hit. And speaking of hitting, the brute would have 5 plus, let's say that same group of level 4s. So half of 4 is 2. 5 plus 2, they'd have a plus 7 to hit. Their damage is 4 per level. So if you're talking about that level 4 group, 4 times 4 is 16. So in their entire turn, like on their turn, they would deal 16 damage on average. Again, that's level 4. So that's not too crazy amount of damage, especially if that's 2 attacks that deal about 8 per attack. And again, we'll talk about tweaking and changing these things here in a second. And their speed is slow. You probably don't want to give a brute more than 30 feet of movement. And there you go. There's the brute. All the different ways to think about a brute. And now we're going to take this concept, take a big step back, and I'm going to show you this one chart that you can make a monster in 1 minute or tweak a monster that already exists in less than a minute. Time out. I got so excited talking about monsters. I went through this whole brute thing already. Where's this coming from? Where's all this charts and stuff that you're seeing? Where's all this done? We release every single month on Patreon a full PDF. This month, as you can see, the monster theme is monsters. And man, oh man, is this one huge. Just like I just showed about the brute class, there is all 8 of those roles fully broken out, just like I've shown. A full table that you'll see here in a second as I go in other parts of the video. We've redone the challenge rating system and made it monster levels. There's a whole breakdown of how you can do that there. Added a new experience system, an easy, simple way. It's almost too simple of how to level up and easy ways to issue out experience. Templates and examples of how to turn a monster into an elite or legendary monster. A brand new presentation of how to present monsters in a streamlined way, so when you're running it, you're not looking all over the place for different parts of it, so it's a lot really efficient, and a whole bunch of examples with bug folk monster stat blocks to show you what it looks like. None of this would be possible, and these resources would not be able to be created if it wasn't for the support over on Patreon. Everything we do is fueled by patrons, so thank you for that. And that's also why every single month we give patrons these PDFs. And you can check out all the different reward tiers, and we release monthly DC playbooks, which is what I'm talking about here. It's different every month. I make a post about what the next month is. You can always see and kind of keep up to date with what's coming out next. All adult Purple Dragons get this PDF and a lot of other rewards on top of it during the month of August. And after the month of August is over with, the PDF then goes onto my website. So check out the link down in the description, which will either take you to Patreon, where you could sign up, you'll get the PDF, and then you could even switch over to the free tier if you don't want this thing to keep recurring, or just check it out on the website. Or if you're on the fence, let's show you more stuff. Let's get back into it. So now here we go. This is the 1-minute monster chart. You can, any of these monsters you're talking about, a general monster, any of these 8 roles we're talking about, you're going to be able to have this section right here. What I'm about to show you, just like I showed with the brute, is how you can make any type of monster of any type of category at any level with this simple chart, just like I showed with the brute. So on the screen right now are every single type and every single formula that you could possibly need to be able to create these things. Take a screenshot now, you can actually see it, and we'll talk and break it down. So each of these is going to be how you can make the brute. As you can see with the brute, it was 15 health per level. Ooh, but for the artillerist, it's only 5 health per level. The defender is 10 health per level, but man, their base AC starts off at 15, and then you add half of the character's level. You can see how all of these scale with the player's level. Whatever player or groups your party's at, it'll keep scaling. So if your player's a level 4, you could do the calculations for whatever you want, and that could be everything for that entire level. And then when they level up to 5, okay, cool. Everything changes by 1 notch. It's just a super simple way to create a monster. You could take a monster, a regular D&D monster. You want to have some big, huge ogre. Okay, throw the ogre down, and you want to have 2 like goblin archers behind him. Cool. Go to artillerist. What level are my players? Okay, cool. And then you can make one like that. And it gets better from here, because I'm now going to show you this big, huge monster level chart. Now, again, if this video gets 1,000 likes, I'll do a whole thing about how to convert challenge rating over to monster level, how that whole thing works, how the balance of it works out, how to build encounters based on that. That's a whole situation that ties into experience. It all is one full system. But you can still see this table and gain some benefits from this too. This is the 1 through 20 monster level chart. This is an average of everything else we've been talking about. So I'm averaging a brute along with an artillerist, along with a skirmisher, along with a controller. All of these are averaged together to be the average generic default monster. So if you want to make a monster, this is the general average, and then you can add extra damage, take away some health, and make some tweaks from there. And obviously you can make those tweaks because I've also shown you how all the math works for all the roles. So if we were to take level 4, we've been using level 4 for an example this whole time, the proficiency bonus of this monster would be 2, armor class 15, hit points, let's just put it in the middle of somewhere there, 30, plus 5 to hit, deals a save DC of 13, and it deals 10 damage per round. 10 damage per round also means it either deals 1 attack for 10 damage, or if you want to do multi-attack, it could do 5 and 5. And how you issue out the damage on that is you could have it be a D6, which is in general is like 3.5. So a D6 plus 2, that would be about 5 damage. So its attack deals 1d6 plus 2, and it has another attack, and it makes 2 attacks. And for an about 10 damage. Well, that's too much damage. Sure, lower the damage down, increase its health, increase its defense, increase its proficiency bonus. You can adjust things and tweak them. This is just the average of the absolutely neutral baseline for you to be able to play with. And you can use all those other charts I showed you to play around in the type of role that you're wanting this thing to be. But wait, there's more. We are adding toughness templates onto monsters. This is another super simple tip that you can take any monster, apply a template to it, and then it's good. It can keep all of its same abilities. You can add in more if you're getting homebrew crazy, or you can just scale up or down a certain boss. I'm going to use a blink dog for an example here. Maybe you want a blink dog that's a little bit scarier and it's like a little bit more intense, intimidating. Your player's a little bit higher level, right? Here we go. There is a greater template and a lesser template for the opposite effect of this, but you can apply a greater template onto this monster. And all it is a simple plus, plus, plus across the board on some things, which I'll show you here in a second. You can also add the greater template multiple times. It's very simple. So if you wanted a blink dog that's a little bit stronger, throw on a greater template. If you want it to be way stronger, you could throw on 3 greater templates, and I would call that greater 3. So it'd be a blink dog greater 3, which means I've taken that greater template that I'm going to show you right now and done it 3 times. So here's what that looks like. The greater template is +1 to proficiency, +1 to damage, +1 to armor class, and +10 health. That right there is a +1, +1, +1 to the proficiency, damage, and armor class, and then you add 10 health. That is one greater template, and you could do that multiple times. So here we go, blink dog, and you added greater 3 would be +3 proficiency bonus, +3 to damage, +3 to armor class, and +30 health. Now you got a blink Cerberus, and it's a lot scarier. It has 2 heads. Oh my god, it makes what? And another cool thing is if you look at the monster level system and you see where the blink dog is on the monster level, greater 3 actually adds 3 levels onto the monster, which levels it up and it stays even and balanced. And now overall for some big overarching tips. If you feel like anything I said at any point during this, man, that's too much damage, man, that's too much health, that's the whole point, is for you to tweak and change it. And biggest recommendation I can have for this is anytime you use any system out there, mine, other people's, your own, evaluate after the combat's done, because all of us dungeon masters, when we make a combat, we want to put that combat, let's say we want to put it right here at difficulty. Ooh, you know what? No, let's have it be right here. And then the combat happens and it falls somewhere. Maybe we killed it. Maybe they stomped it and maybe we TPK'd them. Dang it, right? It's going to fall somewhere and you need to evaluate that somewhere. Reflect on it. After the players leave, you're alone by yourself again. Think about if it went how you're going according to plan, because I can't tell you how many times I screwed up so bad and either way, good or bad. And I was like, that was not it right there. And if think about it, okay, so now I know maybe I shouldn't have done greater 3. Maybe I should have just done greater 1. But if you have these different tools and systems in place, you're going to be able to understand more and fine tune those tools instead of just shot in the dark all the time. So if you have these different templates and you have these charts and you have these little tables here that you can use and these little greater and lesser templates, and there's a whole bunch of other stuff in this PDF, but whatever tools that you have to use, evaluate how it went, and then maybe you can see where you went too far on. And you can be like, okay, no, you know what, greater 3 was too much. I should have just done greater 1 for the dog, and maybe I could have added an extra teleport ability or increased the teleport range. That would have been cool. And like, that's the type of stuff you need to have. Even if it's just 5-minute reflection after the fight, think about what tools you use and how you use them, and over time you will get better at using them. So fast forward a couple combats from now, and now you're like, all right, I really think I want to do this monster with this thing. I'm going to homebrew this monster with this template. Here it is. I think this is the balanced encounter for what I'm wanting here. And then the combat happens and it's boom. Oh, nice, I did it. And I hope that's what this video and other videos I've done, other PDFs I've done a whole bunch of PDFs on monsters. There's a dynamic monster system, build a baddie system with charts to be able to add features. Honestly, this system that I'm putting out here in this PDF, plus the build a baddie chart, it has a bunch of features. It's a bunch of features based on the different kinds of enemies. This video will balance out the numbers and actual math of the health and the attack rolls and the proficiency, and then that can add on features. So I really hope that these resources, these videos, these PDFs help you out in some way to be able to find and make it your own, make the monsters your own, make your own systems. Because I just want to put a bunch of tools in that DM toolbox, and then you have so many tools it overflows, and you start thinking outside the box. See how I did that? See what I did there? Peace.